Hey, Vlogmas day 14, and look at it outside. It is snowing like crazy. Tabby's over there. I don't know if she knows what to do with the snow. So, Kyle and his brother have been out since 5 a.m., which is now about 12 hours. So, I am just going to take the dogs out, and I'm going to start cleaning up the kitchen, and I'm going to start doing some baking, and also get them something hot in the oven so they have something nice and warm to fill their bellies with when they get home. So, yeah, I'm just going to take Tabby out, and then I'm going to take Watson, and then I'm going to just start cleaning up. So, hair in a messy bun, as always, normally. And no makeup, so I'm not really doing anything. I'm not leaving the house. I can't leave the house because, yeah, there's a lot of snow on the ground. So, I figured I'd do some baking. So, I will see you guys in a little bit. Hey guys, sorry it's really bright. I am sitting in our living room next to the tree and watching A Christmas Carol, which is the Disney Christmas Carol. I'm really sorry I didn't get a chance to vlog today. The guys were out for 15 hours doing snow, and when they got home, I just made them really quick dinner. They showered and they are both now asleep. So I was going to do my Christmas cookies, but I didn't want to wake them up because they really need their sleep because they have to go out pretty soon again. So I'm going to combine today's vlog, day 14 and 15, for you guys. So I hope that's okay, and because I really want to show you some Christmas baking. Hi, baby. Watson's just laying with mommy. He's just laying on my leg. Hi, buddy. Hi, my pretty baby. I love you. Watson. Watson. I love you, little boy. Well, the babies are definitely tired out from the day. They had fun playing in the snow. Tabby, I don't think she likes the snow very much. Watson, on the other hand, loves the snow. He's always loved the snow. So tomorrow when I take them out, I will definitely film it so you can see. Watson came in looking like a snowman. Literally, he didn't look like a snowman. He looked like Santa, because he truly had like snow all around his snout and on his like little chin. It looked so adorable. So, and then he wiped it all off before I could take a picture. So, they don't normally sleep like this close together either. It's quite cute. So, poor Zach. He's conked out. Kyle's conked out. So, I just want to show my babies real quick and my big little brother. So, I will see you guys tomorrow. Good morning and welcome to Vlogmas day 15. As you can tell, I am still in bed because I'm tired. And I had to kind of stay up really late last night just because of I was kind of waiting for the boys to get called back out for snow, but thank goodness they didn't. They left about 15 minutes ago, and it is 11:51. So, where are you? There you are. Sorry, my eye itches. We probably got a good 6 inches of snow between yesterday and today. So, gosh, my eye really itches. Sorry about that. I don't know how long the guys are going to be out today. I don't think it's going to be, you know, as bad as it was yesterday. I think really they're just going to go check all the properties and see if they need to salt or clear or anything like that. So they shouldn't be gone too late. So I'm going to try to get my baking done today. Well, part of it at least. So yeah, right now I'm just having a pumpkin pie Pop-Tart for breakfast. And my good old trusty water. I already took my meds. And I am watching Elfie Days, which is pointless blog on YouTube. I love him, and I love all the the UK YouTubers. So they're all doing Vlogmas right now as well. So, which is kind of cool, like on the other half of the world. Like I said, I apologize for not putting up a video yesterday. Really, honestly, I probably vlogged like 10 minutes. And I didn't really think that that was good enough for you guys. So, like I said, I'm going to do some baking today, which I'm excited about because last year for Christmas, I got my KitchenAid mixer, which is it's the Pro Series. I think it's like the 600 Pro Series or something. It's pretty much the best, it's the best KitchenAid you can get before the commercial mixers, like the Hobarts and everything like that. So, and I got it like 3 days after I did all of my Christmas baking. Like Ellie came over last year and helped me do all my baking, which was really fun. So, but we did it all by hand. So this year I'm ecstatic because I can save some of my muscles. But I mean, honestly, I really do like mixing and baking and everything by hand mostly, just because I feel like I can get a better feel for the texture and consistency of it. And that's also just how I was taught. So yeah, pretty much that's all that's going on today. Hey guys, so as you can see, I'm still in bed. I took a nap and I woke up and I was not feeling well whatsoever. So Tabby and I are actually watching Mr. Jim Chapman on his Vlogmas, I think day 10. The guys are still out. They, thank goodness, were able to get a lot of sleep last night. They did not have to go back in at 11. They were actually able to get probably a good 12 hours of sleep, which is fantastic. They left about noon, and it is currently 6:18. But they, I believe, are coming home pretty soon, and then Kyle has to then they have to leave again because Zach has to get back for some homeschooling stuff tomorrow morning. So they're going to go back tonight, and then I think Kyle's probably going to come back home tonight. So I'm still going to try to do a little bit of baking. They're going to bring me some dinner, so hopefully that'll help my tummy situation. So I will definitely do at least one batch of something. So, but I definitely am going to do something for you guys because I promised you. So I'm going to keep that promise to you guys. So I will talk to you guys in a little bit. Go check out Jim. He is awesome and amazing and really cool. So yeah, I will put his links in the description box down there. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Now we're going to finally do some baking, and I'm so excited. So I have, look at all that stuff, all of my ingredients. Got my recipes, got a couple more under here because we're going to make a couple different kinds. So look at all that goodness. So let's get baking. Alright, so I'm going to first do my sugar cookie recipe. And I'm going to make 2 batches because I'm going to make one plain, and then I'm going to make one that is going to have some dried cranberries and some white chocolate chips in them. So basically it's really, really simple to do a double batch. Obviously you just double everything. So I've got my trusty KitchenAid. So let's begin. Okay, so what you're going to need for this recipe, if you'd like to follow along, and I will put the whole recipe and all the directions and measurements and everything in the description box if you'd like to make these for yourself. So, you're going to need sugar. My recipe calls for Crisco, but I'm actually just going to use some butter. You can use Crisco, you can use butter, you can use margarine. Really doesn't matter for this recipe. You're going to need some eggs, and I've got eggs over here. You're going to need some light corn syrup, some vanilla, some
AP flour, which is all-purpose flour, baking soda, baking powder, some salt, and I'm going to change it up a little bit this year. I am going to add some sprinkles right into the cookie mix, and I've got a bunch of different ones. I've got some candy cane sprinkles. I've got one of these wheel things, which are awesome. You can buy these at like Target, Walmart, you know, just kind of like grocery stores. And I think it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different ones. I used this a lot last year, so there was really not a lot left, but just gonna mix those in. Then I've got some festive trees, which I'll try to open it so you guys can see, but don't actually spill it everywhere. So that's what those look like. And finally, just some holly berry decorations, which are just green with little kind of red holly berries in there. So, but I'm going to put those in at the end. And you don't have to do this, it's just something I kind of like to do every now and then, just to spice it up, change it up, all that stuff. So first we're going to combine our sugar and our butter, and this is a method called creaming. And what you want to do is you need 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks. So each stick is a half a cup. So, and you can, you know, bring this to room temperature. I'm actually using margarine, so it's not really going to be that hard to cream. I'm just going to grab my paddle attachment, and I'm going to use my flat paddle for this. You can use, like if you have a hand mixer, that's fine. You know, you can do it by hand, which is actually what I normally like to do. Got my apron on so I don't get all dirty, got my hair tied back. Clean hands as always. So, let's begin. Okay, so I'm going to put my 2 sticks of butter in my mixing bowl. Plunk those right in. Okay, then I need 1 1/4 cups of sugar. So I have a 1 cup measuring cup, and I'm just going to pour it. Make sure you level your measuring spoon out, or measuring cup out, because when you're baking, you really want to make sure that all of your measurements are exactly precise, because otherwise it's not going to turn out. It's different than cooking where you can just kind of add here, add there. Baking is always like a science where you always have to make sure that all of your ingredients are measured out correctly, and a lot of the time put in at the right stages. So, like I said, this is called a creaming method, and we're just going to cream our butter and our sugar together. So I have 1 cup and a 1/4 cup. I think I might be able to get a 1/4 out of this, but I have another bag of sugar over there, so I might be able to get a 1/4 cup out of this. Let's try it. Just shy. Got about that much, so grab our bag of sugar. Alright, so I've got my 1/4 cup in there, and so this looks like that. So I'm going to put it on my mixer, lock it into place, grab my paddle attachment, get that on there, and I'll show you what we're going to do. So we have our mixer with our cream and our sugar, and we're just going to bring it up. Start it on low. And see, because I'm using margarine, it really doesn't need to be at room temperature because it's a lot softer than butter or Crisco. Okay, start bringing it up. And you want to beat this until it's very creamy and pale yellow. Okay, so now that our now that our butter and sugar are creamed together, I am going to add 2 eggs. I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of light corn syrup, or if you don't have light corn syrup, you could use pancake syrup, and that's fine too. and a tablespoon of vanilla. So, let's see. Okay, so I've got half a tablespoon, so I'm just going to add 2 of these of the vanilla right into the bowl. I cannot believe that this is going to be my last year baking in this house and in this building. And you know, as if you guys have watched my channel, I grew up in this apartment complex and actually in this very building, and then I came back after I was in the hospital, and Kyle and I moved in, and we only have about 3 weeks left and we're going to be moving. So it's very bittersweet, but I'm really excited to get into the new house and just have a lot of fun and all that stuff. So, okay, 1/4 cup of light corn syrup. Pour it on in. Okay, give it a little turn, that way it doesn't go everywhere. Into the bowl. And one of the most essential tools that you guys need for baking is a rubber spatula, and it is just really important to make sure that you get all of your ingredients in there. So if I just kind of poured that, I don't know if you guys can see that, but look how much product, or look how much, you know, ingredient is still in there. So I'm just gonna scrape the sides down, get that in the bowl. Okay, and then I'm just gonna add my 2 eggs. So I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, egg number 1. And egg number 2. Okay, and look at that awesomeness. No shells to be found. Okay, again, start on low. Let that kind of beat in there for a sec. Then you can start turning it up. And you're looking for a very smooth, creamy consistency. Okay, now that we have all of our wet ingredients in there, I'm going to take in a separate bowl. I'm going to put 3 cups of flour in here. Woo. So I have a 2-cup measuring cup and a 1-cup measuring cup. So, just going to get my flour in here. So tell me, guys, are you guys enjoying Vlogmas? I am having a blast doing it. It is a lot of work, but I really am having a good time doing it, and I really hope you guys are enjoying it. And since we're going to be sitting here talking for a minute, why don't we sit and chat? 2 cups going in the bowl. 1 cup going in the bowl. So, why don't you guys tell me in the comments what kind of Christmas baking you guys love to do. So I love doing cookies and pumpkin logs, which I am going to show you, and just a lot of other really fun stuff. So 1 cup going in there. We now have 3 cups of flour, which is what our recipe calls for. So flour back over there. And the reason I'm doing this in a separate bowl, you guys, is because we want to gradually add in all of our dry ingredients to our wet ingredients. So, and also too, you want to get a chance to incorporate all the dry ingredients together so they're very well blended, which you will just need a whisk for. Okay, now we're going to add our leveling agents, and first I'm going to do baking powder. And this recipe calls for 1/2 teaspoon of baking, 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. And let's see. So this one calls for baking powder 3/4 of a teaspoon. I have a 1/2 teaspoon right here, so I can't find my 1/4 one. So 1/2 teaspoon, and then I'm just gonna do about 1/4. So there you go. So baking powder in. And there is a difference between baking powder and baking soda, so please don't Please make sure that you do not get them mixed up because it will affect your recipe. So then we're going to do half a teaspoon of baking soda, and I have my half teaspoon right here. And I just like to kind of go along the edge. I just have like a little opening and level it out like that. And you guys may think it's a little weird to put salt into a baking recipe, but it really, all it does is it doesn't make it taste salty. It just brings out the natural flavors on all your other ingredients and really kind of kicks that flavor up. So we need half a teaspoon of salt. I'm using kosher salt. You can use table salt. You can use kosher salt. I would not use sea salt because it's definitely going to have a little bit more of a salty flavor. But kosher salt is perfect for baking, and table salt is fine too. So just half a teaspoon of salt. In it goes. And I always like to, woo, stuff's falling. I'm telling you, it wouldn't be a video for me if like stuff didn't fall. I'm telling you, right? So here's my recipe, and I'm just gonna, I always make sure before I start adding everything else in, I always make sure I have all of my ingredients in there. So I got it. So I'm just gonna take my whisk and I'll show you guys what I'm doing. So there's all my dry ingredients, and I'm just gonna take this. You can use a fork. So, and I'm just really gonna give this a good mix. It also adds air into it. You can sift the flour, but this recipe does not call for sifted flour. So, but this kind of just beats up a little bit of air into your flour, which is gonna make a lighter, more luxurious cookie. So, just like that. And this is what I have set up. These are actually my freebie boxes, a couple of them. That's what I set my camera on to film, which is kind of funny. Woo, there's my hand. Okay, so I'm just gonna take a half a cup, and I'm gonna add about a cup, well, 3/4 of a cup at a time to our dry mixture. So turn our dry mixture on low, because otherwise you're going to get a flour shower. And I'll show you what I'm doing. So mixer's on. Flour. In it goes. Give it a second to incorporate into your wet ingredients before you add your next one. Next one. And I'm just going to keep adding it until it's all incorporated. Okay guys, about halfway through this stage, I like to scrape down the sides of my bowl, so I'm going to bring that down. And I'm just going to scrape my paddle down because it's got a little flour on there. And just really scrape those edges down really well, you guys. Okay. Just like that. And then you can just scrape your spatula off either on the side, like so, and then just get the rest of that batter in there. Okay, and I'm just going to add the rest of the flour, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Alright guys, that's what our batter looks like now that all the flour and our dry ingredients are incorporated. So now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take these candy cane sprinkles. I actually just tasted one and they taste very like vanilla-y. So I think that would be really, really nice. Oh, there you are. In our cookies. And I think I'm just going to do maybe half a cup. So, like I've always said, if you guys have watched my baking tutorials before, you can always add, but it's very, very difficult to take away. So, make sure if you're going to do any kind of add-ins to any sort of baking that you're doing, make sure you do the recipe exactly how it states in the actual recipe. And then afterwards, you can add in your goodies and extras and everything like that. So, I'm just going to add probably about 1/4 of a cup. Maybe around about 1/3 of a cup. So, I'm just going to sprinkle those in, and I'm not going to have the machine do this process for me. I'm going to take the paddle off, and I'm going to hand mix these in there because I don't want them to break up, and I want them to kind of keep their shape and their color and everything like that. So I'm just kind of making a little space for me. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now. So I'm probably going to add in a few more candy cane sprinkles, but biggest thing is, see all that goody goodness? Scrape down your paddle with your rubber scraper, or rubber spatula, same thing. Get all that goodness off that paddle. Okay. So I am just going to mix this in by hand, kind of get all the sides down. And that's what we're looking at right now. I think I'm going to add in a few more, not too many, because the red in the sprinkles is definitely kind of going to bleed a little bit. So I'm just going to take like another capful. Just like that. In it goes. Oh yeah, that looks really cool. I like this a lot. So I always try to do something new each year for my Christmas baking. Last year, Ellie and I did all of my baking together in one day. I think we spent like 4 or 5 hours baking. And by the end of the night, we were so exhausted and delirious. We had a huge flour fight, which was hilarious. So, last year I made sugar cookies with crushed up candy canes and white chocolate, which were really, really good. The candy canes actually melted when they were in the oven, which was actually kind of funny. But then when they cooled, they got hard again, which was really nice. Kind of gave that really kind of nice crunch with the soft cookie and the melted chocolate. It was just phenomenal. So, biggest thing after your dough is all mixed, you want to get it into the refrigerator for at least 1 hour. You can do it overnight, which is great. This actually will keep in the freezer for up to about 3 months. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Probably about 5 months. Sugar cookie dough can be fine in the freezer. So I'm just going to put this, I'm going to separate it into 2 because it'll be easier to cool or set that way. And I'll be back in a minute. Alright, I've got the 2 pieces of dough wrapped in parchment paper. You can use aluminum foil. It's going to stick a little bit, or you could use cling film, which is plastic wrap. So I'm just going to put these in the fridge. I'm going to make another batch of sugar cookies and add in my cranberries and white chocolate, and I will show you how I do it. So I have made a second batch of sugar cookie dough, and now I'm going to add my dried cranberries and my white chocolate. So I'm going to start with the cranberries. These are just the Ocean Spray Craisins, and I got the 50% less sugar just because it's already sugar cookies, and I don't know, actually I kind of think that it tastes better. So I'm just going to open this up, and I'm going to take a 3/4 cup measuring cup, fill it up, dump it in. So, and again, like I said before, it's always easier to put in more than to take out. So, alright. Gonna grab my white chocolate chips, which almost just completely spilled all over the place, but I caught it. And fill up that 3/4 measuring cup while making a mess. And so we got all those. Couple little escapees. Woo! So that's what we're looking at. Gently kind of fold it in. So you don't want to beat the crap out of it, because that will add that'll add toughness to your cookies. So just kind of fold it in really gently. And by what I mean by folding is, I'm going to try to do this to show you guys, is you take it along the sides and then you go in the middle. So very gently scrape off, and then make sure you get all the way to the bottom. So all that dough has a little bite of cranberries and white chocolate. I think I want to add just a tiny bit more, just like a little small handful, about that much. And I'm gonna do a little something naughty. Gonna take a couple white chocolate chips, a few cranberries, pop them in your mouth. The chef's gotta have something too, right? So good. Okay, so that is what we were left with. And all I'm going to do is divide it in two, put it in parchment paper, pop it in the fridge for an hour, and then I think we might start on some Russian tea cakes. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, so the next cookie that I'm going to make is Russian tea cake. So I've got my recipe right here. And what you're going to need for this recipe is, and again, I will have the recipe and all the ingredients and everything listed below, but you're going to need butter, you're going to need confectioner sugar or powdered sugar, you're going to need vanilla, all-purpose flour, some salt, and either pecans or walnuts, and I have walnuts right here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to crush up my walnuts, and I've got this little gizmo right here, which is just a chopper, which makes it really easy to chop things like hard-boiled eggs or nuts or vegetables, anything like that. So I've got my 3/4 cup. I'm just going to dump it into here. And actually I'm going to do this in 2 stages because I don't want to crowd the chopper too much. So I'm going to take about half of the nuts in here. You just put this on top and you just whack it. Like that. So I'm just going to chop the nuts and I'll be right back. Alright, so I've got my nuts all chopped up, and you want it not to a powder because you still want to have that little bit of crunch. So you're looking for about this kind of consistency where it's pretty well chopped up, but there are little chunks of nuts left in. And like I said, you can use walnuts, you can use pecans. You want to use something, probably one of those two, because this is a pretty traditional recipe. So, but walnuts or pecans will work just fine. Alright, next we are going to do our creaming method again. So we are just going to take our butter, our sugar, and our vanilla, put it in our mixer. Whoop. Get on there. Okay, this calls for 1 cup of butter. So again, that is 2 sticks. And I'm just using the same butter as I used before. So this has actually sat out just for a little bit, just because I've had it out since I started baking. So 2 sticks of butter. You can use regular butter, you can use margarine, you can use, I would stick to butter on this recipe. You can use Crisco if you'd like, but like I said, this is an extremely traditional recipe, so I like to kind of keep it as traditional as possible. So we've got that. Then we are going to add our 1/2 cup of confectioner sugar. And you want to use confectioner sugar, guys, this time. You do not want to use regular sugar. 1/2 cup measuring cup. Fill her up. Okay, level it off. In the mixer it goes, and we need a teaspoon of vanilla. Okay, so I've got my butter, my sugar, and my vanilla mixing in my bowl right now. And again, you want to beat this to a creamy consistency. You want to start it on low, and then you can bring it up a little bit more. So, there we go. Now we have our nuts in our other bowl, and again, it's kind of the same thing as the sugar cookies. You are going to want to combine your dry ingredients separately from your wet ingredients. So we have our nuts, and now we are going to add 2 1/4 cups of flour. So I got my flour. 2-cup measuring cup again. I love this measuring cup, especially when I'm doing a lot of baking. It's just so easy and to use. Alright, 2 cups and 1/4 cup. Alright, then I'm going to add in our 1/4 teaspoon of salt. There we go. And I'm just going to get a whisk again and mix these together. So just kind of give it, woo! That's why we wear the apron. Holy cow, flour shower everywhere. Oh well, you know, I've always said if you are not making a mess, you are not having fun, and clearly I'm having a blast. So, alright, I got my walnuts and my flour and my salt all mixed in. So I'm just going to turn on my mixer again on low. Take about, again, stuff's falling, half cup at a time, and just add it into my butter, sugar, and vanilla mixture. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Alright, so this is the texture that you guys are going to be looking for. It's going to be crumbly. You do not want it all creamed out. So I'm just going to take my paddle and scrape off all of the dough. Scrape down the sides of the bowl with my rubber scraper. And I'll show you what it looks like. So it's going to be crumbly, just like this. So, just like that. And all you do to make these is you take your hands, roll them into balls, and because there is no egg or leavening agents in this, they are not going to spread apart. They are going to stay little balls. And you want to bake these at 400 degrees for 10 to 12 minutes until they are very, very lightly golden brown. Do not have much color on them because that means that they are going to be bitter, because the walnuts or the pecans that you use, they will turn bitter if you cook them for too long, and your cookies will not be tasting good. So I'm just going to get these on a sheet tray and I'll show you what they look like right before they go in the oven. So this is what they look like right before they go in the oven. You just roll them to about ping pong size, golf ball size. So I've got 19 cookies here. So on a 400 degree preheated, make sure it's preheated, oven, we're just gonna put those in here. And we'll check on them in about 10 minutes. Okay, so this is what they look like when they come out, and I'm going to let them cool for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to roll them in some powdered sugar. Hey guys, so I thought I'd just show you what the Russian tea cakes look like when they came out of the oven, and that's what they look like. And I just took some powdered sugar when they were still warm. I wait about 5 to 10 minutes, so they're cool enough to handle, but they're definitely still warm, so the powdered sugar will definitely stick to it. And that is what they look like. I have another batch in the oven, and I just put them in a couple minutes ago, so I'll show you what those look like. And that's one of the good things I like about this recipe, is that you don't have to necessarily, you know, spread them apart, because there is no leveling agent and there's no eggs in it, so they're not going to spread. So whatever size you decide to cook them on or cook them in, they're going to stay that size. So that is it for this evening. Like I said, tomorrow I'll be doing some more baking. I think I'm going to try to do peanut butter blossoms, but I have to get some light brown sugar. And I think I might do some of my grandmother's oatmeal cookies. And this also, the Russian tea cake recipe is also my grandma's. That was my dad's mom, and who I'm named after. So, and I always kind of feel more close to her whenever I bake, and especially around the holidays when I use her recipes and some of her things. It always kind of, you know, just warms my heart. So, that is it for tonight, and I will see you guys tomorrow for Vlogmas 16. So, I love you guys, and I'll talk to you later.